now I will show you how to make it. So what I use is this big pan, large pan for that, so that when the oatmeal bubbles it stays in the pan. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 6 cups of milk to the pan and the oatmeal and the salt. So 6 cups of milk, or almond milk or coconut milk. I will be adding, I'm using old-fashioned oats, and I will be adding 1.5 cups of the whole rolled oats, and then 2.5 cups of the quick oats. And my 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now I'll stir this up, and then I will put it on the stove over medium heat while stirring to get it all nice and smooth and cooked. If you want, you can put it on high for a little bit, but make sure that you watch it and you don't scorch it, just to make the process a little bit faster. So that's what I'm doing here. I have it on high, but I'm really watching it and stirring it. What I have done after this started getting warm and thickening on high as I'm stirring it, I turned it down to medium, and now it's starting to bubble, and it's in a very thick consistency, as you can see in here. It's pretty thick, but we want it really creamy, so we're going to let it cook a little bit. You could put it on medium heat. Let this cook for a while, and you can tell when it's really nice and creamy. What I'll do is I turned it on simmer, and I'm going to put the cover on. Just let this for a while, for maybe 3-4 minutes. And while this is cooking, I'm going to turn the oven on at 350 to preheat. So now while this is cooling off, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. If I can get it. Here we go. So the butter melts. So the butter is melted, and let that just cool a little bit. Put the cover on, and while I'm doing that, I will beat my eggs, a larger bowl. Okay, now what I'm going to add is my applesauce, and I have my 1/2 cup of brown sugar packed, and I'm also adding 1/4 of some milk. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and a squirt of maple syrup. Now stir this up. You don't have to put it in there. I've made it both ways, and I just prefer the extra protein. It carries you through those long, cold service days. and so you're not hungry all the time. So you just stir that up. Okay, now we need to add our eggs. And what you can do is, so that you don't put your eggs in there and then the eggs start cooking because of the hot mixture, just take a spoon of it, stick it in your eggs, mix that up, and that will eliminate the problem. So now just add your eggs. Mix this up really good. And if some do not like the cholesterol, use like 5 egg whites instead of 4 whole eggs. Use 5 egg whites, or you can buy instead of the egg beaters that have the yolks in them, you can get white egg beaters where it's just the whites to eliminate the cholesterol, but it gives you a lot of protein also in there. Okay, now I'm gonna oil my stone pan, and then we will put it in the pan. It smells really good, and I smell the peanut butter. Once you put the peanut butter in your oatmeal, I think you'll really like it. And then when you don't put it in there, you'll say, wow, why didn't I put peanut butter in my oatmeal before? Okay, so just put that nice in the pan like that. Now we're going to take tin foil and cover that really tight, because we want the steam in there, and we want this to be nice and creamy and not dry. I'm kind of lipping it around so it's tight on there. So now we'll put it in the oven at 350 degrees. We will bake this for 1 hour. Take the tin foil off and check it with a toothpick to see if the toothpick comes clean. And then if it still needs to cook a little bit longer, 5 or 10 minutes more. But keep checking it with a toothpick and always return the tin foil back on the pan. Now our oatmeal bake is finished, and I made sure that the center is not runny or gooey on the top, and that the toothpick came out clean. Now I am going to let it cool. Before you let it cool or put the towel on the top, what you can do, take the tin foil off and take some brown sugar if you want and sprinkle that over the top of it, and it the steam kind of melts it and it makes like a little glaze. You don't have to do this if you don't want, but it just adds a little bit of sweetness to it. To keep all the moisture in, is put a towel over it. The tin foil's under there with a towel on top. It'll take quite a while for it to cool. Then after it cools down, put it in the refrigerator for the next day. Okay, our creamy baked oatmeal was in the refrigerator overnight, and I'll have to warn you, it's really heavy. Anyway, let's take a look at it. And here it is. It almost looks like a cake, but it's more like a custard. So I will cut a piece. It's nice and have some for breakfast this morning. So it looks like this. So I'm going to put a little bit of milk on it. And it tastes good cold, if you'd like it cold. But I like it hot. And then I'll put this in the microwave for 1.5 minutes. So I'm done microwaving it, and I'm just going to put like a 1/2 teaspoon of some brown sugar on it. So I hope you enjoy this recipe and that it will help you have a prepared quick breakfast to go in advance. And like I said, you can freeze them individually and bring them with you and put them in the microwave or eat them cold. Here I have my oatmeal bake, and I put them in little Ziploc bags, and I'm going to put some in the fridge and some in the freezer for a quick breakfast in the morning.